Well, welcome back to Faith and Cigars, and I'm out here in my mobile cigar lounge, and it's a little bouncy, so we'll see how that translates on video. But 49ers are playing. I was listening. Purdy just got sacked. That's pretty discouraging. I thought I'd pop on here. I'm out in my mobile cigar lounge. I'm smoking the Liga H99 by Drew Estate. And man, this is a big ring cigar. It's called the Supra Archo, and it's a big old fatty sucker. But it's doggone yummy. Those Lingas are good. But anyway, I don't know if you thought about. I don't know if any of my audience is a pastor or not. You can let me know in the comments. And if you like this content, like and subscribe. But I don't know if anyone in my comments is a pastor or not. But let me tell you, pastoring, big bump, pastoring is not for the faint of heart. And it's not just because it's, hard work. I mean, there is definitely hard work. The hardest thing about being a pastor is you're stuck in this awful place where you have to lead people that don't like you. And sometimes you got to say the hard stuff. And, it's hard. It's hard to have communion and to think about what communion entails and have people, that are going to take communion that have talked really bad about you and your family. It feels like pastoring is like a constant, battle between people who don't like you and don't respect you. It's like a perpetual conflict between I'm for Apollos, I'm for Paul. And I came to a conclusion about that, and that is that if you don't like your pastor, then if your pastor's not immoral or causing sin, then you're out of step with the Bible. Let me tell you what I mean. The Bible calls us to be submissive to our spiritual leaders. Now, I'm not talking about, the man of God gets to say and do whatever he wants, and everyone's got to submit to that, and you can't speak bad about that. I'm not talking about not having pastoral accountability, because that's important. Pastors need to be accountable. I need to be accountable. I have a team of people I'm accountable to, and that is necessary. But what I'm talking about is the routine fact that God has established an authority in the church, and there is supposed to be an elder. Now, we can define what is meant by the word elder and all that stuff, but the fact is that an elder is the leader of the church, and people are supposed to be submissive to that, and under that authority and leadership. And if you can't be under the leadership and the anointing that comes with the office, you're out of step with the Bible. And the thing is that people in America anyway think that church is like the Lions Club, and it's not. It's not Burger King. I'm going to have it my way. That's not how church works. The pastor is not there to entertain the followers, the listeners. The pastor is there to create an environment where you encounter God, to teach you how to listen to the voice of God and obey what he says. That's what a pastor's supposed to do. He's supposed to teach, lead, rebuke, correct, all that good stuff. He's the under shepherd of the church. He sets the vision and the pace for the church. And if you're going to talk bad about the pastor, if you're going to tear him down because he's not entertaining you, he's not doing what you want, well, you're out of step with the scriptures. I mean, that's all there is to it. You know, and pastors nowadays are getting a bad rap, right? They're getting, you know, wrung through the mud. And some of it is rightly deserved, because there are bad pastors and there are bad leadership, and that is true. But that doesn't mean all pastors are bad. And pastors are worthy of respect. Most pastors I know are just good people obeying what God asked them to do. And it's ridiculous that people just tear them down, you know. Oh, we didn't sing enough contemporary songs. We didn't sing enough hymns. You know, I don't like it here. I'm going to go to another church. Man, if that's your attitude, you need to check that, because you're going to church for all the wrong reasons. Church isn't about you. And if you're going to church because of the pastor anyway, you know, that's out of balance. You got to go to church because you're there to worship Jesus. And going to church isn't like, well, I like McDonald's Big Mac over the Whopper, right? We're not choosing fast food when we go to church. We join a church and we serve a church because we're on mission with people who are our fellow brothers and sisters in the church, you know, in the family of God. So if you're going to church and all you can do is complain about the worship service, all you can do is complain about the pastor, he talks too much, well, you know what? You're going to church for the wrong reason, and you need to stop it, for real. You know, pastors have a hard enough job as it is without having to try to make the stakeholders happy. And why in the world does a pastor have to worry about making, quote unquote, the stakeholders happy? I mean, come on, give me a break. I once had a lady come to me and say, well, I give a lot of money to the church, and so you got to do what I say. No, ma'am, I don't have to do what you say. You got it wrong there. So anyway, does that mean pastors are supposed to serve? Of course. Pastors are servant leaders. We're under shepherds. We're not the shepherd. But pastors are put in place to lead people, to serve people. And part of leading and serving people is not to make sure that we sing their style of music, that, you know, give me a break. And I'm harping on style of music, but it goes beyond that, you know. I don't like the pastor talks too much about sin. The pastor does this. The pastor does that. You know, blah, blah, blah. No. You got it all wrong. In fact, in Ephesians, Paul says to stop the unwholesome talk and say what builds people up. He also goes on to describe the works of the flesh, include things like envy and dissensions and factions and selfish ambitions. So, you know, there's something to be said about that. We're supposed to be under the authority, as appointed by God, to elders. And so I don't know what else to say about that. But anyway, if you're a pastor out there, my hat's off to you. You got a tough job. And I know, because I'm a pastor. So anyway, God bless you. Have a good afternoon, and go 49ers.